Remember the heyday of the British car industry? When British Leyland made world-class cars and was unbeatable. If you're screaming at the screen right now, what is this guy talking about? Note, I am being sarcastic. Unfortunately, it seems China didn't get the memo. SAIC, flush with cash from its joint ventures with General Motors and Volkswagen, seems intent on rebuilding British Leyland, one brand at a time. First came Roewe, then MG, and now Maxus. LDV made vans, and the last range under British ownership was known as the Maxus. When relaunched by SAIC, Maxus became the brand name, and initially it stayed true to its commercial vehicle roots. Then came the G10, an MPV, followed by the D90, an SUV. 2 years back, I attended a SAIC media event where I test drove a number of different MG and Maxus branded vehicles. For me, the best was the D90, which being an Australian right-hand drive version was branded as an LDV. So far, it's the most convincing SAIC car I've driven to date, both in terms of quality and drive. So I'm quite excited today to be test driving the Maxus D60, a smaller car launched last year. The first thing you notice about the car is the imposing grille. 3D texturing give it a very modern look, and it gets a maximum font Maxus for impact. Another very distinctive feature on at least some versions of the D60 is the line, which starts with the bottom of the mirrors, flows into where they meet the door, and then wraps all the way around the bottom sill and then up the D-pillar into the roof rack. Unfortunately with this car, they are black rather than in chrome, as on some versions. Overall, the silhouette has some gravitas and is reasonably distinctive. Ultimately though, the car could quite easily pass for a number of Japanese SUVs, and this and Rogue certainly comes to mind. Also worth mentioning about this car is that it looks actually much smaller than it really is. In fact, it is one of the largest SAIC own brand SUVs. For comparison, it is longer even than a long wheelbase Volkswagen Tiguan. Prices for the D60 start at RMB 93,800 and range up to 187,000. That's around 11,500 euros to 22,900. We borrowed this car from someone, and so we're not exactly sure which trim we have, but it is near the top end, and it is at least the version which sells for RMB 149,800. That's just over 18,300 euros. For those kind of prices, the interior is very good, both in terms of the quality of the materials and specification level. All upper surfaces are swathed in soft plastics, and the general fit is good. In fact, better than the outside, where the panel fit could be more even. Storage compartments open with smooth actions. Dominating the dashboard is the 14-inch infotainment system, which along with navigation has features such as a 360-degree camera. Instruments are digital and include map cues when driving, along with speedometer and other indicators. Both seats in the front are electric. To appeal to its young target customers, the seats and dashboard are available in red-black and blue-black combinations. Unfortunately, our test car is in the tame all-black option. Worth pointing out are some of the driving aids. Our D60 has both a head-up display and blind spot warning indicators. On some versions, there's meant to be an automatic parking function along with some limited self-driving capability, although these seem to be absent on our version. A lot of the controls are also voice activated. 你好，大同。
您好。
我要去松江南站。
你确定导航到松江南站吗？
第一个。
将为你导航到松江南站。
你好，大同。
您好。
打开收音机。
播放收音机。
你好，大通，关收音机。
您好，已暂停当前广播。
对的。The D60 comes in 3 seating arrangements, a 5-seater, 6-seater and 7-seater. We're testing the 5-seater, so we can't say how much space is available in the 3rd row. However, we can say in the 2nd row it is very spacious and comfortable. Passengers get air vents, a USB charger and a 12-volt outlet. There is also an air purification system. At the back, there is an electric tailgate and the boot floor is pretty sturdy. There are 2 engine choices, 3 if you include the nearly identical Unique 6 EV car. Strangely, only 6 horsepower separate the 1.3 and 1.5 turbo versions. And despite being a 4-cylinder, the 1.5T, coupled with a 7-speed dual-clutch gearbox, has better fuel economy than the 3-cylinder 1.3T, which only comes with a 6-speed manual. Floor the 1.5T at low speeds, and the 124 kilowatt, 169 horsepower engine makes a lot of noise, but the D60 makes little progress. Low down, powertrain integration is not particularly good, and it's quite rough with very discernible gear changes. Thankfully, mid-range acceleration is better. One of the most surprising things about this car is its steering, which for once is quite well weighted, although it doesn't give particularly great feedback. The suspension is also quite soft, although without many sharp corners it's difficult to fully judge. While I'm a little disappointed that this is not a proper off-roader like the body-on-frame D90, the D60 is still a great package for the price. There is rumoured to be a PHEV version coming, and I'm hoping this will add the electric motor to the rear wheels to give some 4-wheel drive capability. It might also solve my main criticism of the car, that even with the 1.5T, it is underpowered. There is one other problem, and not really a problem with the car itself, but with SAIC's branding. This car is destined for Australia, where it'll be sold as an LDV. LDV used to be a commercial vehicle brand, and in fact still sells commercial vehicles. What then is the difference between Roewe, MG and Maxus, or should that be LDV? It seems that SAIC themselves don't even really know and take a pick and mix approach to the brands and badges. For example, in Thailand, the Maxus T70 pickup truck becomes the MG Extender. Thanks for watching, and let's see you again soon on Wheels Boy.